All right, I couldn't scroll past this headline without having to make a video about it because guess what? I've been excited about this idea with Arne Slot, with Liverpool, with an exciting, majestic player like this for quite some time. Do I think it happens at the top of the video? He might like Arne ball, but if he doesn't like Slot ball, then it's still just fun to talk about it, and I do think Liverpool are exploring this kind of position, shall we say, and I want to talk about it. Florian Wirtz was apparently in Liverpool or near to Liverpool or on his way to Liverpool or met with Liverpool. Hey, if you fly to Manchester, you don't have to stay in Manchester, which is also, I think, what they print on some of the advertising boards in the local area, just to attract people. Do you know what I mean? Did you see the Anfield wrap sign? Anyway, Florian Wirtz will be an incredibly exciting signing for Liverpool, and he is a profile that we're looking at. We're looking at a Xavi Simons type. We're looking at a Churchy type. Churchy? We're looking at a number 10, a creative number 10. And we were just chatting about it in the office. The last time we had a creative number 10, Felipe Coutinho. Now, it's different to the way that we've played this season. It would be weird almost to have someone so creative, almost someone that feels so decadent after such a long time of a midfield at Liverpool, which was basically just us going, get the ball to that guy. What would it mean for Salah? What would it mean for whichever striker we bought in? Would it mean that we need to spend the same amount of money on a striker still if we had someone who could force feed that striker just a little bit more? What would it mean for a Gakpo who wants to cut inside? Would it create more space? Would it congest that area? Would it mean, by the way, and it would definitely mean this, that we had such a rotatable midfield, which is what Slot always wants when he's working with his midfield three, and it is a midfield three, that we would suddenly have so much more control in games. We could adapt the kind of control that we had in games. Do we want this creative type influencer, a high presser, someone who combines well with the wing backs, someone who combines well with the wingers who play immediately ahead of him? If we're talking about getting the most out of a team, then a 10 at the moment feels very exciting. But it would also be very exciting to steal him from under the nose of direct rivals. At one point, Madrid were looking at him. At one point, Bayern were looking at him. At one point, City were looking at him. And that's partly what I think rules him out of this. I know that speaking to top clubs is always going to make your price go up. It's going to make your wages go up. It's going to get your excitement level overall in the game raised. But it raises Liverpool's excitement level mainly because I know some people are going to say in the comments, oh, you know, we were never really shopping there. We're just talking to these players, trying to throw other people off, blah, blah, blah. The fact that these people would entertain a conversation with us, considering that just under a decade ago, we were basically shopping in the bargain basement aisle. No offense to Joe Allen. No offense to some, you know, Coutinho cost like, what, 10 mil euros, I think? That's a very different era to where we are now. And the excitement of playing for Liverpool, the kudos of playing for Liverpool is clearly a big pull at the club. And not only that, but when you've just won the Premier League title, boy, should you swing for the fences. Because swinging for the fences keeps you in title contention. And I think a lot of the time Liverpool are going to be looking at, well, you know, we've done well off the back of the Klopp situation. That was a half and half style, some square pegs in round holes type situation where Slot was playing the best he could, but essentially the team ran out of legs. Why? Well, they were cumulatively exhausted from not only this season, but the previous season. They were cumulatively exhausted because he couldn't rotate the squad in the way that he wanted to, but also because I think there were times where we were looking to change things in the game, and the mental load of changing things in the game is massive. When you have a creative like that can unlock Salah, the striker, or the left winger, or you know, if McAllister or Szoboszlai is making one of those intelligent overlapping runs, or if Frimpong is coming in from the right, or if how many DM, AM, like, is Liverpool basically playing 3-7? Meaning, Konate, Van Dijk, by the way, we've seen one of the centre-backs step up into the midfield. Then, yeah, Gravenberch, you want to say. Then everyone else is an attacking option. And even then, you say Gravenberch's turnover of the ball gives us a great thing. Variability is a big word in the game right now. If variability is even a word. Variation on a theme, variation on the ideas that and the principles that a manager is trying to play are massive. You need creative players to do that. It's why Man City are very willing to spend 200 million on Wirtz this summer. It's why Bayern want to spend a whole load of cash on him with wages and all those kind of things in the end. Because they know that big players like this, not only marketing-wise, but also in terms of creativity, goals, what they can get you in the Champions League, squad adaptability, because that is a big one right now, will get you so many more wins in the long run. The data guys at Liverpool will be crunching the numbers as the best way to constitute a team now that Slot is the manager instead of Klopp being the manager. And I can't stress this enough, right? You will have heard the interviews with people like Ian Graham on this channel, on other people's channels, on High Performance, on lots of different podcasts, speaking about Klopp's constitution of a squad, the kind of players that he wants in a team, because he wants doers, people who are going to be grafters, no matter whether they're winning or losing. That is to say, I think that we're in for an exciting summer at Liverpool because we are varying what is happening in the team. Virgil spoke about a big summer, and I don't think he just means in terms of transfers. You know, there was that quote we saw the other day from David Ornstein, should we say, about, you know, don't expect the phrases war chest or whatever to be used at Liverpool. Still expect them to be smart spenders. Still expect them to be people who've, you know, essentially excavated the market and worked out where the best value was. If they think they're going to bring in Wirtz, which I don't know if we will, but I think a creative 10 is definitely on our radar, or a creative player that plays in that area. Chiesa was possibly one of those tests where he could play anywhere along that front line. He has a little bit of width, but he really is good through the middle. Someone who can play just off a big striker, those kind of things. What you're looking at is that hot zone right ahead of the penalty area that Slot absolutely loves to create goals from. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to strike the ball from there, but you create goals from there. And suddenly Liverpool are unlocking low presses. They're rotating a midfield. Think of all the midfield's options. If you sign one creative midfielder, right? I'll just run you through a couple of these. I'll do a proper deep dive later in the week, right? First of all, give me a normal orientation that we've seen this season. Gravenberch, McAllister, Szoboszlai. Brilliant. Now say that you just want to rotate the team a little bit. You want to go Gravenberch, Szoboszlai deep. That's a 2. And then you want to go this, say it was Wirtz, or say it's someone just ahead of it. Fantastic. Say then that you wanted to rotate the team even more. In a game, you wanted to have a little bit more control, or you wanted to hold the ball a little bit longer. Gravenberch, Szoboszlai, Jones. You're resting your creative number 10, or you push your number 10 out to one of those other roles, or you play him as a false 9. I don't know if Wirtz can necessarily play that, but you know, you could play maybe a Churchy there, or you could play Xavi Simons in that kind of 10-ish / variation role, or what we've seen played this season, where you basically drop the 2 10s deep, and then you have the 2 wingers come inverted off the side of that. All of these are variations and different ways to play variations in a game. All of them, again, amount to control. Not because, you know, you're changing something and the opposition cannot keep up, but because you're changing something and you're one step ahead. Your shape is suddenly different. They have to work it out. They have to adapt. I saw this, the best example of this I've been live seeing this season was Villa. We tried to change things on the fly with Darwin Núñez. Really good striker of the ball. And we created so many chances for him, but he just didn't put any of them away because the shape of Liverpool fundamentally changed when we took off, I think it was a midfielder, and we brought on Núñez. First of all, we wanted the ball to stick to him. It didn't do that. So what we ended up doing was put a lot more balls over the top. Great. But we couldn't get anyone in that number 10 type area / that, you know what I mean, like anywhere between the halfway line in the middle section, say in the part which is basically within the penalty area if you draw lines out from there. We couldn't get the ball to stick to anyone there. We could get balls to stick out wide, and they kept allowing us the ball there. But they knew if we get the ball through the middle, bam, we're good. And we just couldn't do it. Someone like Wirtz not only allows you that intensity, that pressing, that level of control, all these things that Xabi Alonso's side has exhibited over recent weeks, but it also allows you the fun of watching a creative player completely just operate in that area. The last time we had that was Coutinho, like I said. The last time that I kind of see that level of intensity, and I think of a player who could last in this team, would be Coutinho. Before that, we were having this conversation before. Can you think of a position that Steven Gerrard couldn't play in this team outside of centre-back? And obviously goalkeeper. Right back, left back, I would respect Gerrard in either of those positions, especially having seen Trent and Robbo there this season. No problem for me. And Curtis Jones, weirdly. Next up, either of the DM positions, or either of the 6s. Gerrard could play there alongside, I think, Gravenberch, or alongside McAllister. You've got either. He could play the 10, obviously, the Szoboszlai situation. He could probably play striker in this team because we've seen Jota and Núñez both play there. You can't tell me that Gerrard's finishing's any worse than either of those. Then we're looking winger or winger. You don't really want to take Salah off, but say you just want to rest him for a little while. Gerrard, just go there. You've done it under Rafa. Do it again. Left wing. Very fun to watch Gerrard come in on his right foot inside. It's a very modern idea of the game, but I'm just thinking about it. And then you got the attraction of slot ball, right? I think a lot of players are attracted to this. A lot of players want to go to the Premier League, not have to play in the restrictions of what they consider to be a Pep Guardiola system, not go to the poison chalice of Manchester United, not know where they're going to sit with Chelsea. There might be a 10 or a midfielder that wants to go to Arsenal, but I get the feeling it's Zubimendi and a striker that's going to go there this summer. Spurs, you're not exactly going to get the enterprise that you need there. Liverpool is one of those options that at the moment people are being pushed towards. It's not going to be every season, because once we've filled that role, then, we're good. But broadly, you've got a lot of different options there. But I didn't even mention Harvey Elliott. I think it's bad news for Harvey Elliott if we sign a 10, by the way. But we didn't even mention Harvey Elliott. We have mentioned Curtis Jones. We haven't mentioned the fact that there was a Tyler Morton role going on that may then go to Bajcetic. We're talking about a lot of different factors and elements coming into this Liverpool side, which vary the style of play that we can push and vary the different ways that we can essentially just load ourselves onto the opposition, leave two central defenders, not even a central midfielder, and control the game. If we bring in Wirtx, an ex-attacking midfielder, into left-back, suddenly we're bringing in an element of control around there. Not defensively the best, but still good, like Premier League proven. Bringing in Frimpong, we're essentially bringing in a utility or auxiliary winger in behind Salah. Salah, this season, has gone underappreciated for his assists. By the way, look at where most of Salah's great assists have come from, for a finishing number 10. Or on an overlapping fullback. What are we doing in both those positions? Looking to add to either of those with great creativity, a solid buy, and someone who's going to bring a lot of value from the core spine that we already have. This isn't about replacing Liverpool's spine or the complete rebuild that we initially anticipated just before the summer, if we thought we were going to lose Salah, Van Dijk, Trent, and Alisson all in one summer. This is now about the excitement of, oh my God, what if we actually get a creative number 10? It doesn't matter if it's Wirtz. It does matter if it's Wirtz. It'd be incredible if it's Wirtz. It doesn't matter if it's Wirtz. It matters that it is a creative 10 who's fit very regularly and has, done something successful before. By the way, that's not even a prerequisite. I don't think Liverpool go for have you ever won a title. I think Liverpool go for heart, grit, all those kind of things. Things that essentially, when you look at a manager's highlight reel, they'll be shown before they go for a transfer of a player. They'll be saying, what is his personality like? All these kind of things. Wirtz is clearly shown to be a very high-level player. My only concern with Wirtz would be how many years do we actually get out of him? If we're going to spend a huge amount of money on one of these players, and Wirtz's long-term goal, especially if you listen to parents and those kind of things, is, I want to go to Bayern, or I want to stay in Germany, or whatever it is. Do we want to invest in that kind of thing? Or are we looking for a player who can be part of that spine for the next 5, 6, 7 years? Realistically, is that Wirtz, or is someone like, Bayern, Real going to take a run at him at some point and test his guile, his speed, his will? On top of that, we do need this creative style 10, and I think what Liverpool are doing in bringing in a creative player like that is shifting the emphasis from these areas of right back and central midfield where we maybe would have had Trent or Zubimendi. I think if we bought Zubimendi, we'd be missing Trent even less this summer. What we're looking to do is have, it's not a pivot, but like a focal point in the side added. We've already got a few focal points, but add another focal point. I'm going to do a tactical analysis later this week, but let me know who you think fits where, which creative 10 you want to see. So far, the three names in my head are Cherki, Xavi Simons, and Wirtz. I've just added Wirtz to the list, but hey, it fits. Let me know in the comments below. I will be around for you guys to, bounce ideas off in the Discord and in the Patreon. And I appreciate you checking in today. I will see you guys in a while. Much love.